Karimi and Effie and Theo. Today I'm going to read a story about two grannies. And this story is really specially for Karimi. So I'm going to adapt it to talk about her Shosho, Granny Suze and Karimi. Here we go. Karimi had two grannies who she loved with all her heart. They were called Shosho and Granny Suze. Shosho was born in Kenya and Granny Suze was born in England. Now they both lived in the same city as Karimi and her parents. Karimi always looked forward to visiting her grannies because she loved hearing the stories they told about when they were little girls. "Tell me about Kenya again," Karimi begged. "Don't you ever get tired of hearing the same stories, Karimi?" said Shosho. "Never," said Karimi. "When I was your age, we would go to the beach and splash about in the tropical sea," said Shosho with a big smile on her face. "We never wanted to come out of the warm water." "I would love to do that, Shosho," said Karimi. "Well, one day we will," said Shosho. "I promise." When Karimi saw Granny Suze, she asked, "Did you swim in the sea all day when you were little?" "No, lovey," said Granny Suze. "The sea in Blackpool was much too cold. But we did play on the beach all day long and ride on donkeys. We must all go to Blackpool one day, so you can do that too." "Oh, yes, please," said Karimi. Both grannies loved to play music on their old record players, and Karimi loved listening to it. Granny Suze liked brass band music. "This music always reminds me of when we used to go to the park on Sundays to listen to the local brass band. On May Day, we would watch the Morris dancers fling their arms in the air and jingle the bells on their legs as they twirled around the maypole to the music. And guess what, Karimi? Your mummy Anna, Mama Anna, used to dance around the maypole, and we'll go to the May Day one year." "Oh, let's try it," Granny Suze said Karimi, and they both danced in the air like the Morris dancers. And then they fell exhausted into a heap of laughter when they tried to do it. Shosho's favourite music was calypso and steel pan. "This is what they used to play," Shosho explained to Karimi. "It always wanted to make me to dance in the street at carnival time. Come on, Karimi, shake your waist while you dance. Like this, Shosho. That's right, darling." One day, Karimi's two grannies were at her house for tea. Karimi's mum said, "It will be our 10th wedding anniversary next month." "Why don't you two go away together? I'll be more than happy to look after Karimi," said Shosho. "No, I will look after her. She can come and stay with me," said Granny Suze. The two grannies argued and argued about who would look after Karimi. So Karimi said, "Why don't you both come here and look after me?" The two grannies frowned at each other, but agreed. Yes, they would both look after Karimi. The day arrived when Karimi's parents were going off on holiday. "Have a nice time," said Karimi, hugging her mum and dad tightly. "We're going to miss you," said Mum. "Be a good girl for your granny," said Dad. "I will," said Karimi. "Bye." "Don't worry, I will look after her," said Shosho. "And so will I," said Granny Suze. As they waved her parents goodbye, Karimi said, "Let's play a game." "We can play dominoes," said Shosho. "We can play snakes and ladders," said Granny Suze. Karimi did not know which game to play first, so she said, Shall we go for a walk? Let's go to the park. We can feed the ducks, said Granny Suze. We could go to the zoo and see the agouti and the toucan, said Shosho. Karimi did not know what to do, so she said, shall we have something to eat first? I'll cook a lovely steak and kidney pie with mashed potatoes and carrots, said Granny Suze. No, let me cook some nice rice and peas with chicken and plantains, said Shosho. Karimi couldn't decide who should cook, so they got something out of the freezer. At bedtime, the two grannies both wanted to tell Karimi a story. How about an Anansi story, said Shosho. Or I could tell you the story of Jack and the Beanstalk, said Granny Suze. Karimi didn't know which story to choose, so she said she was too tired to hear a story and went to sleep. The next morning, when Karimi got up, she had an idea. She sat down with the two grannies at the breakfast table. Shosho and Granny Suze, I love the things you both do for me, so why don't you take turns? Shosho can do everything one day and Granny Suze can do everything the next day. And that's what happened. They all played dominoes the way Shosho did when she was a girl, and afterwards Shosho cooked peas and rice, chicken and plantain with mango flan for pudding. This is lovely, Shosho, said Alvina, tucking in. Very nice, said Granny Suze. You must give me the recipe. They went to the zoo and saw the agouti and the toucan, the animals Shosho had seen in the forest as a girl. It must have been wonderful to see these animals in the wild, said Granny Suze. That night, Shosho told an exciting story about Anansi. Anansi would turn himself into a spider whenever he was in trouble, she said. Or if he wanted to play a trick, chipped in Karimi, who couldn't help joining in. That Anansi sounds crafty, said Granny Suze. He is, said Karimi, with eyes as wide as saucers. Karimi gave both her grannies a big hug and fell fast asleep with a smile on her face. The two grannies smiled too. The next day, it was Granny Suze's turn. They played snakes and ladders. Down the snake I go, said Shosho. Never mind, Shosho, said Karimi. You won the last game. Then they went to the park and Karimi fed the ducks. We've done that too, haven't we? And we'll do it again. That duck is greedy. It's eating all the bread, laughed Karimi. I'll give them some too, said Shosho. This is fun. Granny Suze cooked steak and kidney pie with mashed potatoes and carrots and apple pie for pudding. You must show me how to make steak and kidney pie, said Shosho. It's delicious. At bedtime, Granny Suze told the story of Jack and the Beanstalk. Fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman, Karimi and Granny Suze said together. I like that part of the story, Karimi said. Run, Jack, run! Yes, run, Jack, giggled Shosho. Fee, fi, fo, fum. The two grannies took turns for the rest of the week to look after Karimi. They really got to know each other better. And when Karimi's parents came back from holiday, she was excited to see them. Did you have a nice time with your grannies? Said Mum. Oh, yes, said Karimi. We had lots of fun. They both made me feel so special. That's because we love you, chirped the two grannies, and they gave her a big hug. There we go. Now I'd like to come and see you again with Shosho because I like your Shosho and I get on very well together. So looking forward to seeing them then. Lots of love, Karimi, to you, Mummy, Daddy and Shosho. Bye.